Well, race fans, it is Indy 500 race weekend. We're here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on Carb Day. You can probably see the crowd around me. An incredible turnout here for this annual Friday party at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway ahead of the 500. I'm Nathan Brown, your motorsports insider with the Indianapolis Star, here for a Carb Day edition of Pit Pass Live. Just 2 days away from the 500 and our race day morning edition of Pit Pass Live. More on that in a second. But before we get there, we had 2 hours of cars on track today for their final practice ahead of Sunday's 500. And as we've grown to experience this month of May, Chip Ganassi Racing was on top once again. Takuma Sato topped the time charts. Here is your top 10. Takuma Sato, Scott Dixon, Will Power on top for Team Penske. Alex Palou, third Chip Ganassi Racing car, and fourth overall. Kyle Kirkwood, Augustin Canapino, Colton Herta, Romain Grosjean, Joseph Newgarden, and Scott McLaughlin. So plenty of representation from your four top teams in this series: Ganassi, Penske, and Andretti. No Air McLaren drivers there, but I wouldn't be too worried. This is a situation of practice where timing, not necessarily all that important. It's so much more important about how your car runs in traffic. Some notes from our press conference as we talked to drivers after they got off track today. It was a fairly exciting day on track, even though we didn't have any crashes. Devlin DeFrancesco had a right front puncture, was very lucky not to hit the wall. Kathleen Legg, in a separate incident, was on track with a loosed wheel nut and slowed on track. We had Colton Herta lock up his tires as he was about to enter pit lane, so he told us a little bit after practice. He was just kind of getting an assessment of where he needed to hit the brakes when they're going into the pits and your brakes are cold and everything on Sunday, and much rather find out where that limit is on Friday of Carb Day instead of in Sunday's race, and either lock up your tires, crash, or have a pit lane speeding penalty that we saw last year can derail almost a certain win from Scott Dixon. Some other notes, we saw Rossi and Santino Ferrucci, Alexander Rossi, get into almost a near kerfuffle on the warm-up lane. Rossi ahead, leading a group out after a yellow flag. Santino pulling onto the grass and getting around him. I think Alex was running a little slow, but a little bit of an unnecessarily aggressive move there from Santino. No contact, so no major issues. But again, I think some nervous energy, excitement, maybe a little pent up as we've had a couple of days off of track and we're getting ready to head out for Sunday's 500, 200 laps around this 2.5 mile oval. Some drivers from yesterday during our media day. Ryan Hunter-Reay talked about how this whole week, once we got past Tuesday morning, was really just all about getting Graham Rahal acclimated to his new number 24 Chevy car. Again, Rahal never has run a Chevy in his IndyCar career. He's been a lifetime Honda guy. Most of that time spent either at Chip Ganassi Racing or at Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing, and he was, of course, in a Honda as recently as Sunday when he was bumped from the field in the last chance qualifier session by Rahal teammate Jack Harvey. So Graham Rahal slides into that seat, the number 24, vacated by Stefan Wilson, who, as we know, crashed on Monday in practice, fractured his 12th thoracic vertebrae. He underwent surgery earlier this week, has been released from surgery, doing fine. He's been up walking around the hospital okay. So great things to hear out of Wilson's camp as he prepares to recover from this injury and hopefully get back to this race here in 12 months of time. But for Rahal, trying to fill in for Stefan, trying to drive in his honor, trying to represent him and his family and his team and his sponsors well. It's been a crash course in learning this Chevy car, getting his seat poured, learning the fuel maps that Chevy uses, learning a new steering wheel. Luckily, he had a great friend in Ryan Hunter-Reay to help him throughout that process. Here's Ryan taking us through what those couple days with Graham, getting him up to speed, was like.
We took some time to discuss the setup differences, or the handling difference, I should say, from where he was to where we are. And I think it'll be a nice transition for him because, well, the way he was describing his car didn't seem very friendly, and ours seems to be on the stronger side of rear grip. He's a pro, right? I mean, he knows what he's doing. He's one of the best IndyCar drivers out there, and he's current, right? He's got a great relationship with the Wilson family. Good relationship with Dennis Reinbold and the team. One of my good friends. So I think when you put all the factors together, it was a perfect fit to fill in for Stephanie.
Another driver we haven't talked too much about this month of May, Connor Daly, was asked during media day what he thought the front of this race and the race's competitive level overall was going to be like. As we know, IndyCar has brought on a couple new aerodynamic pieces that are supposed to help these cars run a little bit better in traffic. What we've heard from most drivers, now not everyone feels this way, but for the most part, drivers haven't noticed too much of a difference when you get really deep back in that pack. Let's say 6, 7, 8, 9 cars deep in a single file pack. They say you're not going to really notice that much. You're going to have the same dirty air, the same turbulence, the same struggle to follow a car close enough to be able to build up a draft, build up a run, and get around them. So we've started to hear that it's a little bit easier to run. One car behind the leader, maybe even 2, maybe even 3. But the true test, I guess, will be on those final couple laps of Sunday. Assuming we haven't had someone just completely run away with this race, we'll be able to see if that dragon weaving back and forth maneuver on the front and back stretches that worked for Marcus Ericsson and worked for Simon Pagenaud in 2019 will work, or if a trailing car will be able to get up close enough, keep that draft, and build up even more of a run than we saw Pato Award build up going into turn 1 of lap 200 last year, where ultimately he got side by side with Marcus Ericsson, but wasn't able to get a nose ahead, wasn't able to get around him safely, and was worried about the championship points that he would have lost if those two cars were to crash there and finish somewhere in the 24th, 5th, 6th range after just completing 199 laps and running up at the front all day. So that's one of the things I'm really looking forward to. Here is more from Connor Daly on what you can expect to see on race day.
I think I read Pato's comments, I think last week. He says things aggressively, which is good. I like that. And I think he was pretty accurate. It seemed like at first in the test, the passing and racing was a little, like we could run a little bit closer. But I don't know if that's actually what it's going to be like. I think the first two cars can pass each other every straight if they wanted to. But if you're third car back, fourth car back, it is really, really hard. It doesn't matter how good you feel or how heroic you are. I mean, if you look in practice, you had 2 Ganassi cars, and then all of a sudden you'd have a Juncos car and a Foyt car, and whoever. It didn't matter who it was. The line doesn't change until something else happens. So I think the most interesting thing will be the end of the stint, because cars seem to be burning off tires more than others, and that'll be the most interesting part. So I think lap 18 to 28 of the stint is going to be more telling than the beginning. It'll be exciting for the first couple laps, and then I think you're going to see a lull, and then it could be like people have vibrations so bad they can't see, or they're like burning off the tire. I don't know. Like, you always get vibrations here because the tires get old and you're pushing them to the limit. It's not a Firestone problem. It's just, I think we're pushing the cars faster than we've gone in the last literally 30 years, 1996 or whatever it is.
If you are here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, I hope you guys continue to enjoy your Carb Day experience, the Bryan Adams concert coming up, the fan midway, the gift shops with some new merch in them, everything that you can ask for on this awesome experience that we have every year, the Friday before the 500. Of course, the pit stop competition that's about to start in a couple of moments that we'll have likely the results of after this is posted, but hope you guys are enjoying yourselves here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. If you are not, if you're going to be at home a lot this weekend, if you're not going out to the parade, if you're getting your cooler ready for Sunday, getting all your food prepped, I encourage you to take some time and go back through our website and give some stories a read from the content that we've put together this month. Really impressive list of in-depth, exclusive, enterprise-type stories that you're just not going to read anywhere else. We've been covering all of the news that every other major media organization here is covering. I believe we do it as good, if not better, than anyone else. But what you get from reading our website, from becoming an Indy Star subscriber, are those subscriber-only stories that you can't read without that sub. Now, it's $1 for 3 months, and then you can test things out, read our whole website, see what you think. One of those subscriber-only stories of mine published this morning, a profile of Alexander Rossi, who I think is the most fascinating personality, a really interesting storyline coming into this race. He's with a new team. Last time he was with a new team here at the 500, it was his rookie year with Andretti Autosport, and he came away 500 winner. It was really great to spend some time with Alex, talk to those around him, get a little bit deeper into who he is as a person, both on and off the track. Hint, same guy. I know there are a lot of folks that thought early on in his career he came off a bit of a jerk, I guess you would say. You could use some other words, but this is a family show. And it was really interesting to hear about how not only has Rossi's personality maybe evolved, but the way in which he's gotten more comfortable being himself in the IndyCar series. He's gotten away from that everyone is out to get you mentality that he experienced in Europe for 7 years when he was there trying to build a career in Formula One. It's interesting to hear how intellectually focused he is and how he approaches his racecraft, and how a lot of folks both in and out of Arrow McLaren feel like that's a really great fit for him as he takes on this new journey, becomes their third full-time driver, and takes on a new role in a new team, and hopefully finds some momentum in ways in which he just hasn't had it these last couple of years. He's been up and down, had some terrible luck, and just hadn't ever really felt like he was able to find a groove after he signed that new 3-year deal with this team in 2019, during a year in which he was winning some races by as many as 30 seconds at Road America is one that stands out to me. So hope you give that story a read. Some other really great stuff I want to touch on really quick. Yesterday I went through, kind of just dumped all of my thoughts onto a piece of paper and put together 33 things that I'm thinking about, looking forward to, or think that you should know heading into this year's 500. Put a lot of time into that. There's a lot of really great news, record type nuggets. So I hope you enjoy getting a chance to read that. We had another really great piece from one of our new writers, Tyler, on Tony Kanaan. He shadowed Tony for a day during practice last week. We've got some incredible photos and video from that day from our visual journalist, Grace Hollers. Check that out, please. Check out all of our galleries from Carb Day. We'll be tackling the parade tomorrow. Again, some great features. I haven't even gotten a chance to look through because I've been, frankly, so busy covering this race. Enjoy all of that. Don't forget to tune in for our Sunday race morning edition of Pit Pass Live. We have guests like Marcus Ericsson, Doug Bulls, Santino Ferrucci, Don Cusick, hopefully a couple more that we're working to secure that I think you will enjoy. Again, that starts Sunday morning at 8:30. You can find that show on Facebook, on our website, on YouTube, any chance you want, or any place you want to find something to stream, be able to be available for you. And we'll take you right up to the start of NBC's pre-race coverage. Our show will probably finish up around 10:15, so close to 2 hours of a race show. I think you will really enjoy. It'll get you ready for race day. It'll take you through the field. It'll talk to some of the biggest players, and we're really, really excited to bring that to you on Sunday. And then follow us on Twitter, follow our website. We'll be here with an army of reporters, photographers, of editors here to take you through the race on Sunday and beyond, well into next week with our wall-to-wall coverage. That's it. I'm Nathan Brown, your motorsports insider with the Indianapolis Star. I'm going to go get some sleep. I'm getting ready for Sunday, and I hope to see you on Pit Pass Live. Thanks for watching today's Carb Day edition of Pit Pass Live.